Now, Brew, teams are 0-150. They were 0-149, and then LeBron lost. Once down 0-3, and most lose Game 5. So the question is, are you giving the Celtics a chance? Any chance? Just 1%
Well,
would
look,
count.
I am not going to sit up here and get all happy. I'm not going to whip out my toes, how many I have now.
Goodness.
I'm taking it one game at a time.
Especially because you already abandoned them.
No, I'm taking it one game at a time.
Right.
However, I am giving them a slim chance. And here's why. I got 4 good reasons why.
Okay, great.
Number one, we all would admit that the team that is down or was down 3-0 was the more talented team.
Sure.
Obviously, a number 2 versus a number 8, a number 7 that lost the first play in and was down with 3 minutes left in the second play.
And they
so
were the
barely
number 8.
got into the
They
play.
ended up being the 8 seed. Yeah.
So then they have the home court advantage, which most teams down 3-0 don't have. They've also got 2 All-NBA players against 1 All-NBA player. And finally, if it's going to happen, and I'm not saying a team will ever come back from down 0-3.
Oh, I think they will eventually.
But from what we know of basketball to this point, this is the era to do it because it's the three-point shooting era.
Yeah, by that.
We see 15-point leads vanish like that.
Yeah.
And the same can happen in a series if one team gets hot from 3, the other gets cold. And oh my, the team that's down 3-0 just happens to be one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league that has been shooting horribly
Yeah, we have a
in the
graphic.
first 3 games.
Yeah.
And last night shot like they typically do.
Boom, there it is.
And
bro.
then the team that was up 3-0, there you go. They are one of the worst three-point shooting teams that was shooting lights out in the first 3 games. And last night shot
That sounds
closer
like
to
you
what
believe,
they typically
Brew.
do. So
It
I am
sounds
giving,
like you
what
believe.
I'm saying is there's a chance.
Okay.
How
Can
many? Are you at toes? Can I
No,
have
he
Toes
said no.
after game 5. Toes
Okay.
will come
Can I-
out after
all
they
right.
win game 5.
Fair.
A few
Get
things
ready.
here. I won't need to get ready. They have no
Oh, they-
chance. And before I get to actual basketball analysis, I do need to acknowledge this phenomenon that the power of which I've never seen in sports. The curse of Broussard
Oh, stop it.
and the havoc it has wreaked
Stop it.
coast to coast, round to round
What
in
are
the
you
playoffs.
shaking your head
Out
over?
west, it smited the 2-seeded Grizzlies instantly.
Smited.
It got the
have
Warriors
anything to do with
nearly
Josh.
instantly. The Suns, it got them. The Lakers, he picked against them the whole playoffs. Finally attached themselves to them. They haven't won a game since.
Outta here.
Out east,
I'ma call
the
Michael
Cavs
Malone.
went down.
You're
The
telling these
Knicks
Nuggets
went
no
down.
credit.
The Bucks went down.
This is what
and
you-
then,
you know
no,
what?
Brew.
This is what
Brew,
you do when you pick
I
Dallas
let
to
you-
win the
Brew,
finals.
Brew,
all right? You
Brew,
jump on the guys
Brew,
that's still alive.
I let you have your 4 reasons and your 10
I
toes
gave
and
real
your graphics.
analysis.
Well, I'm sorry that I have to acknowledge the sports phenomenon that we're in the midst of.
Who did I
and
pick?
then the Miami Heat.
You picked the
The-
Celtics.
and then
they're still alive.
But then at the end of the show, you picked the Heat to win the game. And You're like, what are you
the
doing?
first time
You got
all
this, Bill? I don't remember
playoffs, you forget picking the Heat to win a series, who, of course, you have picked against every single round.
Yes.
The first time all playoffs that we've been asked the question, the Miami Heat are playing tonight. Do you think they'll win? For the first time all year, all playoffs. You said yes,
Yeah.
and they score 99 points and lose. So, thank
I got
God.
the Heat tonight.
Thank God. Well, they play tomorrow. Thank God
In
you're
that
back
case.
on Boston. But a few now basketball issues.
Yeah.
The point of, well, the home team is usually not the team down 3-0, totally irrelevant to me. Because no matter who's home and who's road, games 4 through 7 always involve 2 and 2. Whether it's the 2-3-2 format, the 2-2-1-1-1 format, it's always 2 at your place, 2 at my place. Think about it.
Yeah, but game
No,
7. Now, I get it. Boston hasn't played well on the road.
They're not going to get to a
But
game
if they
7.
do,
and Boston
it's
is
at
not,
home.
Boston is worse at home than on the road in the playoffs.
Would you
The
rather play
idea-
at home, though? Even if that's been the case.
Oh, if it were, listen, not for this game 5. All the Celtics did by winning yesterday was avoid the most embarrassing sweep, an unexpected sweep in NBA history. That's what it would have been. Yes, by the Vegas odds, yes. Wow. We have never seen a team favored the way the Celtics were going into this series. We've seen them lose. You would have been being swept by an 8 seed when you were a minus 600 favorite. But they've lost 4 of 5. They're 4-5 at home this postseason. They've lost 11 of their last 19 home playoff games. The idea that going back to TD Garden is going to be some cure-all when they have clearly been worse than Miami in this series and in these playoffs is foolish to me.
Brew, can I add to your point? I'm going to make a prediction
agree?
here. Yeah.
For all that nodding, you
Well,
agree?
I couldn't quite tell because you were with the Celtics and then you left. And so your Game 5 prediction is who?
I'll go with the Celtics.
Okay, good. All right, now we're back. I agree with the Celtics because I think Jaylen Brown is going to have his big breakout game. Hawks, he was shooting 51% from 3. Against the Sixers, he shot 43% from 3. And here's what he's done against the Heat. 1 for 6, 1 for 7, 0 for 7. Last night, 1 for 5 for a sterling 3 for 21. And I don't say this lightly.
LeBron
It's worse than LeBron.
See, there you go.
It's worse than LeBron from 3. He's shooting 12%. He's going to break out. We need a big Jaylen Brown game. He had 40-plus last year against the Heat in a loss, but still.
Hold on. Do you think the Celtics have a chance here?
Oh, yeah.
No, you
yes.
don't.
It's got to happen.
Are you talking about Game 5 or the series?
The series.
Yes.
Just because Jeter and A-Rod were at the game and everyone's like, oh, it's like the 04 Red Sox. No, it's not.
You can see them winning Game 5, right?
Why isn't it like that?
What do you mean? Because unlike in
I'm not saying it's
first
gonna
of all,
happen
it's not
because
like
of
it
that, but
happens
it's
a lot in
different
baseball.
sports,
It's happened one time, and those are individual pitching matchups, and still, it's just happened the one time.
Sure.
The Heat are better. And
Why
the
were
idea,
they the 7th seed?
They were the 8th seed, actually, is what they ended up being.
The 8th seed.
What? Because I am not worried about what either of these teams did in November or December or January. I am worried about what we have seen over the last 6 weeks, and most importantly, what we have seen over the first 16 quarters of this series. And I know we'll get to the Heat side of it, but the Heat are going to go to the finals, and people are still going to be disrespecting them. And the Celtics are going to have struggled with the Hawks, go 7 with the Sixers team that nobody believes in. They fired their coach. They want to get rid of Harden.
You believed him.
Hold on. No, wait a moment. I'm saying the national media, nobody believes in the Hawks. The Celtics struggled with them. The national media, the Sixers, are they trading Embiid? Is Harden, should you just let Harden walk? They fire the coach. They needed a 50-point Game 7 to beat them and a stirring fourth quarter of Game 6 to avoid losing in 6. And now they're down 3-1 to Miami, and we're still like, well, they did start 18-4. I don't care about that.
Win Game 5, go back to Miami.
It's just getting interesting. That's all I'm saying. I have not thrown toes on the table.
No, he hasn't yet, but he will.
How
Next
is it?
week, tune
Okay.
in.
But after Game 5?
It is. I would
might
argue
whip
it
them
is.
out.
You're saying it's getting interesting, Wildes?
Yes.
I would argue it is by definition as least interesting as a series can be that's still going. The least interesting a series can be is a team goes up 3-0 and they're talking about firing the coach, and then they get a
this
game
is
4.
different because
Why?
Because you got to take what I said seriously. Boston has been the better team all year long. And with every other matchup, you were big on what's happened all year. Golden State, what's happened all year, all that. They were Denver even now, giving them credit. They were great all year. Boston's been better all year than Miami. Boston has more talent than Miami.
Right.
Boston is a better three-point shooting team than Miami. I'm just saying, it's not like your typical 3-0. There's a reason the team's down 3-0. Because they're not in the same league as the other team. This is different.
But
That's
you
all
believe
I'm
this? You still though believe the Heat are going to win?
I'm taking it a game at a time.
Game at a time.
Taking
Then
it a
when you
game
see
at
the
a time.
toes, you'll know.
Okay.
I mean, I get it, and everything Jimmy has said has come true. But I think it's hard to fake back against the wall. The back's not against the wall. It's 3-1.
No, they've been up 3-1 in every series. They've dominated every series. They haven't trailed in the series. I do not believe this will build momentum for Miami. I do understand the argument of this could be good for us.
I'll buy that.
Because, now listen, they have to avoid injury.
Right.
And was it Gabe Vincent turned his ankle? And I think Reggie thought it was, they were going to have to take the foot. I mean,
the way
when
it
it
went
happened.
down.
Well, no, I'm just telling you. I mean, I thought they might do an on-court amputation. There might be a Preakness stake situation, but Gabe luckily was just fine. So they've got to avoid that in Game 5. But had they won yesterday, by the time the finals had started, it would have been 3 weeks since they had last lost. And so you can say they'd be flying high.
That's a nutty stat. 3 weeks.
Had they lost yesterday, it would have been between their previous loss, which was on May 10th,
right?
and then Game 1 of the finals. That's 21 days. That's 3 weeks. And so I do think refocusing and being reminded that, because I do agree on this point, Brew, we are not going to win the championship because we are just rolling the ball out there and we're the most talented team. We have to be the grittier team, the tougher team, the more dialed in team. So in that regard, I think it can be helpful, but I'm a believer that everything matters. And so there's enough rest between Game 5 and the finals. I don't think it hurts them unless someone does get dinged, in which case you're going to wish you had taken care of it.
Yeah, I don't agree. I agree with you, not Jimmy, that this builds momentum from them. They're still up 3-1, okay? And even last night, as well as the Celtics played, Miami was leading by 9 early in the third quarter.
Yep.
This may come down to three-point shooting.
It will.
Last night
They were
was
plus
flipped.
30.
Right, and they won. The second half, after they were down 9 for 20 from 3 for Boston. And in the second half, 3 for 16 for Miami. Now, again, Boston is the better three-point shooting team. So if they can get hot going forward, that's when we might have the recipe for
I'm going
it.
to play some Barkley sound from post-game because this is how I think it's going to go well, too. Take a listen.
I love Chuck. I also listened to Chuck pregame and at halftime talk about how Boston was dead and they had quit and how pathetic the performance was in Game 3. I think Barkley is a legend and the best ever at what he does. I also think he can be a fickle analyst, if you will, as far as what just happened is the most important thing that happened. I think he would, over a cocktail, maybe agree with that. There's no disrespect or shade whatsoever to one of the greatest in the history of the business. I do not understand, Brew, why we would be treating Boston home games like typical playoff home games.
Well,
they have been bad at home.
Fine. But I still, if I have my choice, and I think any player would say this, I would rather play a Game 7 or a Game 5 in this case at home than on the road.
The Game 7.
There's nothing magical about in Boston where they can't win.
Forget the Game 7 part of it. I'm talking about for this upcoming game. This upcoming game, Game 5.
Right.
Vegas has them as 9-point favorites, I think, or 9.5-point favorites. We are 7.5. Pardon me. We are talking about this. It is being discussed as if Boston has a massive edge because they're at home. I do not believe that's true, and that is not a small sample. That dates back to last postseason when they lost, 5 of their final 9 home playoff games, or 7 of their final 11 home playoff games.
But in the Eastern playoffs, when they had to win at home, they did.
What do you mean?
Last year in the playoffs, they had to win at home.
In the pre-finals, sure.
To think they're going to lose all 3 games at home in this series,
That's good.
Okay. I don't think so.
LeBron's Leverage next right here on FS1 and the Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.